Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the Media Byte channel. Today we are going to be talking about a movie that is very deeply important to me, that I've been playing the games for as long as I can remember. Of course, there was the first one, but this movie is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And with that, let's just jump into the video. For those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, I want to sum up sort of the entirety of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise as a whole. First, there was games, then there were books, and then of course there was the film. The first game actually came out almost, I think it was 11 years ago now, and then Warner Brothers picked up the rights not too long after that, if I remember correctly. Warner Brothers actually picked up both the Minecraft movie and the Five Nights at Freddy's movies both at the same time. I believe it was 2014 because I was about 11 years old. So of course I was very excited, and then there was 8 years of development hell and nobody really could get the movies made, either one of them, either the Minecraft movie or the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And so finally Blumhouse picked up the rights for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, thankfully, and we finally actually got the movie last year. The first film kind of follows the events of the first game in a way. It's reminiscent of the first game, but it mostly is a conglomeration of both the game lore and the book lore. And of course it has its own flavor and lore that kind of fits better for what a movie is. I think they did a very, very good job about handling the lore as not trying to be too much of the books or being too much of the games, because I think they went through like 11, 12, 13 scripts for this. Some of the scripts were just doing the movie, or doing the game, the books I should say. Some of them were just like literally just a guy like guarding cameras. Some people were taking it too dark, some people were taking it too light, some people were taking it more of like an 80s Stranger Things vibe, but the film that they ended up on, I think, works very, very well. So I thought there was a lot of important things that I really liked about the first one, and so I kind of came up with a list of what I think is really important for me to see in the second film. So that's kind of why we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's 2 today. The original movie did this pretty okay, but I think incorporating more of the actual movement of the animatronics that we expect is really important. Because you do see the animatronics move throughout the games, and I think incorporating more of the way that they move in the games is really, really important. I think incorporating a little bit more from the game is really important. I hope in this game, because it's taking more on Five Nights at Freddy's 2, they incorporate the mask. I hope they incorporate the vents. I hope they incorporate a little bit more from the games, and not as far away from the games as they were, because Five Nights at Freddy's, the first movie, doesn't really incorporate much of the security camera shutting the doors thing as you would expect, which I guess that's probably like the only thing I was really disappointed by. But that's not really a fun movie if it's just people shutting doors the whole time. But I think the second one really needs to include the mask, and it needs to include the events, because it's kind of major parts of the game. And I think more people being jump scared, seeing what a jump scare looks like from a third-party perspective would be really scary, and being chased, things like that, I think is really important. So if you don't know, there's a Freddy Fazbear's Corporation, which is a kind of a corporation that runs multiple diners, restaurants, basically Chuck E. Cheese clones, in a world where Chuck E. Cheese doesn't exist, and throughout like America, wherever. It doesn't really actually say, but I'm guessing it's the United States. And I think what's really important about the second movie is that they dive deeper into what the lore of the Freddy Fazbear's Corporation is, some of the deeper kind of thoughts and lore and mythology that exists about the corporation, where it come from, explain what the movie's version of that corporation is. I think is really, really important. Like why the corporation exists, who started it, why the building was closed down in the first movie is really important too, because they don't really explain it very well. Why the company is stuck seemingly in the 1980s, what is really going on in the company, and why is it still around, what happens, why is the building still important, all that kind of thing I think is really important for the second movie to kind of explain a little bit. So let me explain something about the second game, if you've ever played them or don't know. The second game is technically a prequel to the first game. It's not told you explicitly, but it is a prequel to the first game. The animatronics look newer, they look much brighter, they look less worn down. It's because it's a prequel. It's actually a different pizza place entirely. The animatronics in this are actually, in that game, are actually plugged into like a child registry software, child predator software, and they're known, and they keep an eye out for all of the people in the area, and they attack them basically and remove them from the premises, call the cops, all that kind of stuff, if they're coming into the pizzeria. So I think that's really important because that's a really important part of the second movie, or second game, I guess you should say. Explains a lot more about the different characters that you see, and explains a lot about what is happening in this movie. If they need to either explicitly explain that is what's happening, or explicitly explain that that's not what's happening, because it's really important, because I'm going to assume that they're still like that, but if that's not what they want to go for, then it's important that they kind of shut that down really quick. I think keeping the movie scarier, I think, is the move. I don't think you need to go cuter than the first movie. I think you need to go a little bit darker, a little bit scarier than the first movie. Everybody who was 14 is older. They're all 17 now, 15 now. And I think it's really important that you don't make this cuter. It needs to become a little scarier as the time goes on and the movies get more and more and more. Because if you don't, you're gonna just kind of lose a lot of steam, I think. If this interests you and you're, at all interested in hearing more about this, check out the Exploring Cinema episode about Five Nights at Freddy's. It's like an hour long or something like that, probably longer. You can hear my opinions on the film and Alex's film, my fiance, her opinion on the film, because we talked a lot about it. Let me know what you think about it, because we're trying a new thing, so I hope that it's interesting and you like it, because I like doing it a lot. It's fun for me. You can check out all the socials. It's at Media by Company on Instagram and at Media by Co on TikTok for all different kinds of content. Instagram is going to be more like there's new videos out, stuff like that. TikTok is going to be more like brand new content that you see in either YouTube Shorts or over there, whichever's easier for you. And if you didn't catch those ads, just wait until my face disappears. You'll see them there, and you can just type those into your phone or on the website, your Google or Firefox or DuckDuckGo or whatever internet browser you use. Check out the Patreon for commentary tracks. You can either subscribe, get access to all the commentary tracks, or you can buy a specific commentary track, and then therefore you can just own that one forever and never have to subscribe, which some people don't like subscriptions, so you can do that too. If there's a movie that we do and you're like, I want that movie and I want to listen to that movie, it's a commentary track that I do, but you don't want to subscribe, you can just buy that one and own it forever. So if you want to do that, you can do that. The link's in the description, but that's up to you completely. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.